So I was on the interwebs a couple nights ago, and I had to search this up. Do you ever just like come up with a question, and you're like, let me ask Google, even though it's like a extravagant or random ass question?
All the time. But now I ask ChatGPT.
Really? Why?
Yeah. For some reason, it's just easier than Google.
Man, whatever. Okay.
Same shit.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes it's just easier to just search it instead of going search bar, chatgpt.com, and then like signing.
I have the app, dude. I just pull up the app.
Man, you have the app? I don't trust it.
Everyone will say, hey, why do you trust Google? Google is just as bad, if not even worse.
Because they've already infiltrated my phone. You know what I'm saying? But ChatGPT is new. It's like, here's access to my phone. Boom.
Who knows where that's going to lead? I don't know.
Anyway, I was like, bro, how far is the moon? Right? That was the first question. And then that took me on a rabbit hole of like, I want to know how far every planet is.
Oh, good luck.
And I think this is assuming it's a space shuttle going 17,500 miles per hour. My God. Okay, the closest one after the moon would be Mercury.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why? What about Mars?
Well,
hold up. You're saying that Mercury
is closer
than Mars.
Apparently.
I do not believe that.
Yeah. I'll show you why. Excuse me for that. Clear my throat here.
Excuse you.
Actually, no, dude. Venus is the closest. Okay, it's not in order, but Mars is farther than Mercury.
How does that make any sense?
I don't know, but it's 51 million miles away.
Okay, maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know.
But see, it's like, this is what happens when you learn things through people telling you things, right? Is that, you know what? Look it up for yourself. You might be surprised. And that's kind of what happened to me. Mm-hmm. Right? Because I expected like, oh, Mars is closer. Why? Because it's been in the news a lot.
Elon talks about it. We're going to Mars, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So we would assume that it's the closest planet.
Yeah, it's the closest, and it's the closest to Earth, or like, sorry, closest resemblance to Earth, as in life, obviously. But no, Mercury, 48 million miles. Do you want to take a guess on how many days or how long it would take to get there?
Bro, 1 million miles. Like, you've never even heard.
Yeah.
Have you even heard 500,000 miles away on Earth?
Yeah.
No.
We're used to the speed of cars, right? And like maybe planes.
Like 120 miles per hour is crazy.
Right? You wouldn't even get there in this amount of time if you were driving a car.
What was the number again?
48 million miles.
To where?
To Mercury.
I'd probably say it gets, 3 years?
40 days. That's assuming you're going really freaking fast.
You're telling me it takes 40 days?
Mm-hmm. That's
I find that hard to believe.
You're going over 10,000 miles per hour.
What does the average spaceship go at?
Space shuttle? I think when it takes off, the last time I searched it, it gave me an insane number, to be honest, which was 17,500 mph, miles per hour.
I'm very...
You want to do the honors and look that up?
What?
How fast does a space shuttle go?
ChatGPT, not Google, bro. Fuck Google.
Go for it. I don't care. I ain't care.
How fast does the average space shuttle travel in space? 17,500 miles per hour.
No way. See, I was right.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is insane.
So you're telling me it takes 40 days to reach Venus?
Yes.
For some reason, I don't believe it. Maybe that's 17,500 miles per hour.
Not Venus, Mercury.
Mercury.
Okay. Venus will take 32 days, according to this, because it is 38 million miles away.
Okay.
From Earth. Mars is 51 million miles, which makes it 42 and a half days, just 2.5 more than Mercury.
Doesn't it take 3 months or something like that to get to Mars?
I mean, I would assume, obviously, this is why I had trouble like finding the answer of how fast is a space shuttle, because I would assume that it goes slower later. Right? Wouldn't that make sense?
I mean, I don't know, dude. I barely know anything about space.
I mean, we're dealing with a different, like, there's no atmosphere.
maybe it means 17,500 miles at like peak thrust.
Yeah. So 3 months would make sense because it would just lose power. Like,
That's what I heard from Elon and like all those guys.
yeah. All right. Jupiter is even stupider. 306 days.
Oh my God, how far is that?
Sitting at 367 million miles. We're not talking about 1,000 here. We're talking about million. Okay?
Damn.
I mean, just 1 million is already a large number. We're talking about 367.
Bro, you look up and think about Mile Square Park, you're like, holy shit, that's a lot of mileage, bro.
Insane. If anyone doesn't know Mile Square Park, it's a square. And it's 4 miles. It's 1 mile each side. So we got Saturn, one of the world's shittiest cars. 622 days, 746 million miles. And then, what do you know? Uranus is
What did you call me? What the fuck?
Uranus is 1.7 billion miles away.
Billion?
Yeah.
What?
Yes. Billion.
Bro, that is actually crazy.
1,416 days, my dude.
So what is that like? Talking about 4 or 5 years? Is it the farthest?
I mean, my God, bro. Yeah. No, it's not the farthest. Farthest would be Neptune, sitting at a whopping 2.7 billion miles. All right.
But don't you know, dude?
2,250 days.
Space is just a figment of your imagination. It's all fake.
Space is wherever you want it to be.
The Earth is flat. See those stars up in the sky? Those are all manufactured LED lights, obviously.
No. The Earth is a shit emoji. I don't know if you've seen it.
every time it travels, it's just...
Yeah. That's one spin.
It's one spin. One revolution around the sun.
One rotation. Oh my God. Dude.
One rotation. It's fucking...
Oh man. Yo, dude, like just trying to fathom this is already like mind-boggling, you know?
I mean, let's put it into perspective. What is 1 million miles? In Earth terms,
1 million miles? You could probably go to China 3 times.
how many revolutions could you make around Earth at 1 million miles?
Ask ChatGPT.
I don't even know if that makes sense. The Earth's circumference is roughly 24,901 miles. So about 40 revolutions.
Oh my God.
Basically Superman just flying around the Earth 40 times.
40 times.
For 1 million.
That's insane, dude.
Nothing about 1 billion.
See, when you think about it, I just go, holy crap. And then I start to think about the human, the human journey here. And we were planted on this earth. You know, we were just born here.
Yeah.
With soil.
And worms.
And worms and water, right? And then I go, what if it was a little different, you know? What if it's like
what?
Like we were born in like, we got shat out of the black hole. And then we were just in space. And depending on where you floated to, you were either going to become an alien, a human, or whatever. And then you kind of make your way. We all made our way to Earth. So what if that was our journey? Like we had that in our conscious mind. Like we were conscious and we knew that as we grew older in space, right? This is just hypothetical. I'm imagining things right now.
Well, obviously, I'm not sure that's how it works.
Right? Just imagine that's how the world worked, though.
Okay.
Is that you got spit out into the universe?
Are you a floating embryo in space?
No, let's just say you're a human being.
Okay.
And then, you were just floating around until your mission was to like get to Earth.
Get to your
and then
terminal.
we needed to come up with enough technology to like, travel through and then make it to Earth because you knew that the grass was greener on that side, you know?
Might be the most fried shit I've
Because,
ever
bro,
heard, dude.
and then you're like, in your mind, you're just like, there's all these courses I need to build so I can sell and become a millionaire on Earth.
What the fuck?
You know what I'm saying? And you could like picture the Trump Tower.
Are you okay?
No, I'm chilling.
Heat getting to you?
No. It is really hot today. It is 102 degrees
What's
here
fucking
in
new, dude?
Southern
Every
California.
episode we've ever had has just been under the most intense heat you could possibly imagine. But you can't see it because we're Middle Eastern.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it's how we roll, you know?
we're used to it.
Dude, I remember not as a child, but like as a teenager, when I used to travel to Saudi and kick it with my cousins and stuff, we'd be in horrible conditions.
It's
Like just to do anything, just to smoke hookah, dude. We'd be in terrible
in a
conditions.
sandstorm smoking hookah.
Yeah, like we'd be. Well, the thing is, you'd have to hide from the adults because, like, if they found out, we're dead. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, interesting times. We used to sit in like literally sauna weather with sealed windows, so the smoke is trapped in. You know what I mean? We're all sweating,
You know how terrible that would be? That's essentially like you
suffocating yourself.
going, let's say you're in Los Angeles. It's 105 degrees, okay? One of the hottest days of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You lock your doors, your windows are all up, you set up a little hookah in your car, and you're smoking and hotboxing that car.
Yeah,
That's essentially what it is.
basically.
Sounds
Just add a
awful.
little bit more degrees because it was about like if you were indoors with an un-AC'd room that was sitting in the sun in the middle of that, outside's like 117. So inside must cook up to like 123.
Bro, your sweat has
125.
sweat.
Yeah, it's disgusting, bro. And the thing is, you can't breathe. So you're breathing like, and it's like all this just to like have some double apple. you
Yeah,
know?
bro, just to survive, huh?
Crazy. I don't know why we did that, but it was a part of my childhood. My teenage years.
Your hoodlum years.
Nah, as much as I had it. Yeah, bro. So that was pretty interesting. I thought the whole distance thing was like mind-boggling, you know? Because once I started seeing billions, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
That's some
billions of
Poppenheimer
miles.
stuff right there.
Insane. I don't know, man. But whatever.
What did you think of Oppenheimer?
Poppenheimer?
Poppenheimer,
Ooh,
yeah.
dude. Popped. For sure popped.
You saw it like a month and a half ago, right?
Yeah. Like 3 days in to when it came out. Interesting movie. There's a lot of... See, the thing is like, I'll always approach movies, I want to say differently, but every movie is from like a different angle. You know, like some movies deserve like the story angle. Some of it deserves like the whole aesthetic of it, you know? So we're talking about like the movie score and the visuals and how they combine and like load you up on feelings and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps pick up the storyline, you know? And then there's other times where I'm just focused on the story. Like this is sad, depressing, great, effective, you know, whatever. This movie I think was pretty dope because it just has Christopher Nolan's signature. All right. And then Hoyt van Hoytema's cinematography skills are just like, when it's mixed with Nolan, it just is Nolan's look now, you know?
Yeah.
And it has this like weird feeling to it. I'm glad they did it the way they did it. And the cast that they had was amazing. Besides Josh Peck. I don't know why the hell he was in that movie. Good for him though, honestly. Like I'm not hating. It's just like, I think for a millennial,
Some people you just don't expect to be in a film, you know?
Yeah. For a millennial, you know, it's kind of like, dude, this guy was in Drake and Josh. What is he doing here? For the new age, I think he's a really good actor. For,
Sure.
You know, up and coming. He needs to be taken more seriously anyway. But like the story and everything was really capturing, I would say.
Mhm.
Because it got me intrigued, you know. It was kind of like, what is Einstein saying? What is he saying to Einstein? You know, that kind of stuff. In the beginning, it leaves you like in the dark, right? And even at the end, if you didn't hear the last two pieces, which I'm not going to mention because I don't know who watched it and who didn't, but you still can walk away with like some people going like, what did he say? Like, what did he actually say to Einstein? Or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, what's going on with that? And you can see there's something weird and eerie on their faces, right? But I thought it was a really good movie, generally speaking. It's not like action filled or anything, but it really puts you in the environment that he was in, like in his mental state. That's what I liked about it.
Kind of felt action inspired though, especially with like the fission scenes mixed with the music that was really intense.
Creative, dude. It was a really creative movie. I'm not
immense is the word that I would describe it as.
It had a really heavy like drop for sure.
And I like how they take the, I don't know if it was an accurate historical depiction. I don't know if they, took some creative freedom in terms of directing it, but it seems that, at least according to me, that it was pretty accurate from a historical perspective, because at the end of the day, Oppenheimer got screwed. And I think throughout history, you'll see that a lot of these people who are geniuses, savants, they end up getting screwed. Yeah. In one form or another.
Like, technically, Edison wasn't the one that invented the light bulb, but he takes the foreground credit of it,
Yeah, Tesla, Victor Schauberger, all these guys got screwed big time.
Yeah. That's, so in that way, I think it was correct, obviously. It's just we don't know how he lived his life to the T, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know. But they kind of showed it as much as possible, like with that whole relationship and whatnot. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
All we know is that he was popping. That's what we call Poppenheimer.
Poppenheimer, dude. What did you think of the explosion scene? Were you like, where's the sound? Or were you like, no, I know it's coming?
I like the angle that he took with it. I think it was simultaneously like, because the silence was deafening.
Yeah.
And that is what kind of made it immense for me. But I was expecting a lot more out of the scene, just because, you're talking about nuclear bombs, the first nuclear explosion ever from the human perspective. But I do like how he put that silence in there. Yeah. Because the silence would fill the room, and it's almost like...
The silence is the loudest. Yeah. It's louder than the bomb. Yeah. And you were like, what's happening here?
Because up to that point, you heard a lot of loud sounds. So it wasn't like shock. It wasn't something new. Yeah. Until you get to that silence part.
The silence shook me. And then then the explosion had me still. It was weird. So that's the thing I'm talking about with Nolan, is that he's not going for a Hollywood look. He's going for as realistic as possible. And I've been through some things where I'm anticipating something huge, and then it would just be underwhelming, but it's still nice to watch. You know what I mean? Like, it's a mixed thing. So it's like,
and keep this in mind, like from real physical experience. Like, if you're witnessing a nuclear explosion happen, it's all silent. You don't hear a loud explosion immediately. That if you're far away,
that impacts you after. Like,
exactly.
There's a lag.
It takes time, but it's an exact depiction of how it would actually be if you were there.
A good example is the Beirut explosion.
Yeah.
Where you can see it happen. You see the whole massiveness, and then all of a sudden it just picks its way to you.
And then you're hit with the biggest, like...
Yeah. So imagine that, but you're even farther.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What were they like 20 miles away?
Yeah.
20 miles away. And then when you think about the grand scheme of the universe, like when stars explode or whatever, it's like 100 million times greater than that. So again, you arrive at like this blank spot. When you think of like 1 billion miles, nothing comes to mind because it's so immense. Yeah. It's wild.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's like when we shot up my friend's car, the car we all grew up in. It finally died on him. 400,000 miles. Okay. We took it out to the desert, and he's like, one last moment with it. We're all just gonna shoot it up. It's unsellable anymore. It's going to the junkyard. So we took it out to the desert. We obviously spoke to the police department and all that stuff, and they helped us set it up, and then for safety reasons and whatever. But when we did that, I was just like, in my head, I'm like anticipating something freaking insane, And then when you're doing it, you're just like, it's like whatever. It's like nonchalant,
Yeah.
So I assumed like Nolan took that approach. Like, he knows that in cinema, it always has this big, like, over-exaggerated feeling just to show off like your VFX skills and whatever. But at the same time, he took it and he was like, nope, all you need is silence. But at the right moment, it'll hit. And that's kind of what it did,
Bro, during that movie, like, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to name any names.
Oh,
There's some people you go to a movie with.
Yeah, some people you don't.
And they start complaining halfway in. Like, when is this movie over, bro?
Yeah, I know. I could already picture some.
Granted, a 3-hour movie is pretty long, but
yeah,
again, like, Come on.
Yeah.
Have some fortitude.
I know Crispy for sure was complaining.
It's
Yeah.
crispy.
Between you and me, Zaid.
It's a crunchy crisp.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
Yes, sir. And then another one that drives a bus. Between me and you, Zaid, nobody else knows.
Come on. Got to sit through a 3-hour movie and
Yeah,
like
come
really,
on, bro.
especially Oppenheimer. It's like one of the best 3-hour movies out there.
I swear. Christopher Nolan, dude, come on, respect the man. If you're gonna go watch it, go watch it.
It did feel long, but it was also a blur too because you were so focused.
Yeah, it wasn't, dude. It was long, but it wasn't like it didn't feel like, oh, this movie drags. No, it's like these are crucial moments. Let me take it all in, you know.
Because the story's good.
Yeah.
If the story's not good, then it feels that
And
way.
you need room for that in this type of movie, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, just kind of whatever. Now that you're becoming a father, I don't know if you've been on the Ring app, the Neighbors app, where it tells you all the news.
No.
You should get it, honestly. It
Why?
really gives you a sense into like what's happening in your neighborhood.
Bro, I don't know if that's a good thing.
Why is that not a good thing?
I feel like there's a certain level of, for me, people who are overtly cautious, they always get screwed at the end of the day.
No, I'm not overly cautious. It's just it's a helping hand. Here, let me explain. A lot of dogs go missing, right? And they'd be like, it's kind of like posting a flyer back in the day.
Okay.
You know, lost dog. He was here on this whatever on this street, and you'd be like, oh, I know that street, obviously, because it's your neighborhood, and you just kind of help, you know.
So you're talking about it from a communal perspective.
Yeah, it's a community. Yeah.
Okay, I thought
Now every once in a while you'll see like my house was broken into at 9 p.m. Be careful of this guy.
family
And
force.
what I like about that is that, for example, there was a guy that was caught on a Ring camera. Like, what the hell was he doing? Some type of crime, but it was like at someone's house. Like it was at someone's personal house, right? And what had happened was he stole something out of the front porch and left, and then some other day he got caught at like a local grocery store, like stealing something and then dipping, right? And guess what? I saw him at Micro Center.
No.
Swear to
You
God.
saw this guy on video on where?
On the Ring app. Like people were talking about it around the neighborhood.
Okay. I thought this was something you saw on Instagram.
No.
Still pretty impressive.
I saw him at Micro Center and I was like, no effing way. And I go back and I'm like, dude, if I was a part of the Ring app, I would have like immediately like been like trying to find the post. So I could be like, yo, we just found him at like Micro Center, blah, blah, blah. I said this and this to him and all this good stuff.
It would be relatively simple. You just, you just see what car he gets into and just take the license plate.
Whatever it is.
Report that.
You know?
Just.
And I was like, what the hell? And then, what's it called? I like looked for the post for a little bit and then I couldn't find it. So I was just like, I'll just wait till I get home. I got home and I started looking for the post. I ended up finding it after like a good 10 minutes of searching. And some guy was like, saw this fucker at Micro Center. And I was like, what?
That
so
was
it wasn't
me.
just me. And I'm like, dude, are people playing this game of like communal?
Yeah. I would assume so.
Insane. But I thought it was dope because like I have siblings that go to school, right? And when you normally, like if I pick them up, you're extra cautious when you're driving. You know, there's a speed limit, there's people crossing, there's kids, most importantly, you know? And this is when I thought like the Ring community was dope too. It was another instance. But this guy was picking up his kid in a Subaru. Okay. And every time he would come, he would like launch in speeding and then peel out speeding in the middle of people picking up
one
their
of those
kids
idiots.
too, you know?
Yeah.
So what had happened was a bunch of parents cornered him in. They stopped him, started yelling at him, telling him like, your behavior is not appropriate for here. We're calling the cops. We're doing all this stuff. Started insisting that he curses, right? Gets out of the car, wanted to like beat the crap out of everyone. I'm like, dog, this is insane, you know? Like, I don't know how as a human being you can function like that, because it's like you're not courteous to other people. God knows how you are to your own kid. Like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, I could be a dick all day, but when it comes to kids, like, I'll be the nicest person ever, you know? Like,
yeah, I mean,
like you're just like you'll kind of just be this little humble, nice machine that's like ready to buy them ice cream and, you know, like do whatever, right? And just like be carefully driving. And
Those people are odd,
you're not
man.
going to take people's like problems. Like if someone's going to come and cut you off, you're not going to be the same person as you would be alone. You know what I mean? And this guy has the audacity to just do that day in and day out. So this was a repeated issue.
Every single day, this dude's peeling out of the parking lot.
Yeah, dude. And then until one day, the parents actually spoke to him. Like they literally cornered him in. They were expecting him to do it.
Yeah.
You know? So I thought this app was cool in that sense because they all kind of like rose up, you know? And then they brought it to the school board's attention, and then they actually got him to like get his kid out of there.
Okay, that's cool.
Like they don't want it a part of that community.
Yeah, rightfully so.
I mean, it sucks for the kid, dude. It's just like that's what I'm saying. Is like if he's doing that with his kid in the car, you know?
Imagine what he's doing at home in private.
Exactly. So what does he think about your kids? Probably just run him over, dog. Doesn't care.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where that guy is going to learn a harsh lesson, right? Like one day he's probably going to kill a kid.
I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if it's like
weird. It's like this whole ego thing of like I got to be like the badass cool one all the time with this persona, you know?
Could also be something wrong with his like health and brain. Because you hear about how have you heard about toxoplasmosis?
No.
I believe it's a fungus or a virus that jumps from a rat or a mouse to a cat. And because cats hunt both of those animals, it just immediately transfers onto the cat, and then humans can also get infected by it.
Interesting. So you're saying
from the cat passing it on to them.
And
as a result, there's actually been, I believe, clinical evidence to show that it increases risk behavior. So like people who ride motorcycles a lot, people who go very fast in cars and things of that nature, they've actually been shown to have high rates of toxoplasmosis.
And is this a physical liquid? What is it?
I think it's like a fungus or something.
Okay, so it actually grows wherever.
I gotta search this.
That's interesting.
That's the reason why we have.
I'm wondering if it's like chemical, or if it's one of those things that could be pushing on your brain on a certain area to cause you to be like just stupid. You know?
Oh, it's a parasite. It's a parasitic infection caused by the Toxoplasma gondii parasite. It commonly spreads through ingestion of contaminated food, water, soil, or contact with infected animals. That's crazy, bro. Parasitic infection.
That's insane.
It's literally controlling you to seek more risk.
That's weird.
It is weird.
I don't know, man. But growing up, dude, there's like this certain type of person that I just always disliked. And I would always see it. Like there's some students at school, you know, growing up in high school, where their parents were even like just way too aggressive. You know what I mean? Like they just come off as like hella tough.
Yeah.
Hella rough with everyone. Doesn't care about anyone in their sight, you know? That type of thing. The type of people that would yell at the principal when their son was doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Weird stuff.
Human beings, they come in all different shapes and sizes.
They do.
Personalities.
Yeah. But it's just like, man, why you gotta make everyone miserable? You know?
At least we don't make everyone miserable.
Yeah, I don't know. There is a way to act, though. That's how I've always been.
For sure, yeah. There's a social contract that you shouldn't. You should be wise enough to not break.
Yeah.
Like one example of the social contract is don't stand too close next to me in line.
Yeah.
Like understand personal space.
Exactly. Why are you creeping up on my ass?
Why are you creeping up on my ass, bro?
Come on,
it's pretty sus behavior right there.
Oh, dude. So we recently went to Big Bear.
Ooh.
And if you don't know Big Bear is like in Lake Arrowhead, California. It's its own private lake up there. It's pretty nice. We had an Airbnb. It was really cool. The weather out there was amazing because it's been really hot, man. It's been so hot this year. And just being up there in like 72 degrees, 67 degree weather at night. Oof.
Up in elevation.
So nice.
Pristine.
We had a blast, and I think I can never get enough of that, man. It's so weird that it's just like, that's where I want to be. I always want to be in the mountains.
Yeah, the mountains are a beach house. It's one of two places.
I don't even like beach houses.
Why?
It just reminds me of like Solbra and like You know what I mean?
I feel like it has to be a very isolated beach house for it to be like top of the class.
Like, really, dude? Would you rather go to Yosemite or Miami?
Honestly, Yosemite.
Yeah. No.
I feel like that's just because mountain like houses are just more isolated.
They are.
Because it's colder. Like you're not going to have people in swimsuits outside all day.
I wonder if that's a thing where if for people that only live in like busy city lives.
What?
Where you just want to be in the mountain rather than beach. Like seclusion, you know?
Well, I mean, in LA, I'd think so. Because you have cities that are relatively close to the shore. So it's not hard to get to the shore, but in regards to the mountains, it's much harder.
It's tougher.
Yeah. But I do believe that Airbnb there was some sus paranormal activity for sure. Now, I will admit, ever since Spice Rack, Basil, who we had as a previous guest.
Spice Rack. I forgot about that nickname.
It's so funny. But ever since, so they went downstairs. It was him and Omar.
Yeah.
They were like checking out this like basement room or something. Basil is convinced that he put his phone like firmly on the bed to the point where it wouldn't fall, right?
Yeah.
And Omar's not near the phone. All of a sudden, this guy sees the phone drop to the floor, and he's convinced that something slowly slid it over to the point where it fell.
Yeah.
Ever since then, it was like the entire night was funny because everything would be viewed from a paranormal lens. And even to the point where, of course, I messed around with the guys. I turned off all the lights when they were outside of the living room.
Yeah.
And they were freaking out for like a whole 20 minutes.
Yeah, like
I was just hiding in the bathroom.
Someone do that? No. Yeah, that was funny.
But there was this one point, and I shit you not, like I was situated at one seat. I think were you standing or were you sitting? No, we were about to go outside.
Yeah,
so you were standing right next to this door.
Yeah, I was kneeling like my back against the couch.
Yeah. And then Gus was right next to the door, but he wasn't like anywhere, like he wasn't touching it or anything.
Yeah. The door was like 5-6 feet in front of me.
Now I'll tell you, when you open the door, it slides open pretty easily.
Yeah.
Okay. It goes with its own momentum. But if you try to do that while closing the door, it just stops at a certain point.
True.
When I tell you I look over and see this door slowly creaking all the way to the point where it basically almost entirely closed.
Yeah.
I was freaked out.
Bro, it was like 3/4 closed when I saw it like push in.
So we both saw it, but I saw the entire thing.
I heard the thing. Like I heard the thing go in the door and then it just stopped. So it's slightly cracked open.
And we both looked at each other.
Yeah, but it was wide open before.
Yeah.
But I was putting on my shoes. You were putting on your shoes, right?
No, I was just sitting watching TV.
Yeah, that was insane.
And then I see this door move by itself without anybody near it.
That's when I was like, okay, I know we were messing around earlier, but what the hell was that, you know?
Like we figured out the light situation. We turned on one light, the other light, the like connected switch and all this shit.
Yeah, yeah. There was another moment where we freaked ourselves out for like a good hour, and then an hour later we solved that one of the remotes was turning on all like 2 rooms.
Yeah.
You know? So we're like, oh, okay. The lights are just...
But I still can't explain that.
I don't know, man. I mean, there is a... You know, like ghosts would most likely be in abandoned places and places that are far out of reach, like mountains and deserts and oceans and whatnot. Tunnels, caves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they like humans, bro. So they kind of just...
I feel like that's how every
Stick away.
like Ghost Hunter episode is.
Yeah.
They find that one thing.
Ghost Hunters International.
They find that one thing that's kind of sus, and then everything else is just... They almost manufacture it from their own minds.
Bro.
What's that sound?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it's like, hold on, Kyle. If your name is Teresa, can you please say something? If anyone is occupying this room, can you please say something? What the hell was that?
You hear a fart? Someone on set farts.
Remember the one where it was like some guy dubbed in, my name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Screaming.
I've always imagined one of those episodes going down, and then they're at like this castle in Ireland, and then they're waiting to hear something. And all of a sudden, you hear one of the guys fall from the castle. Ah! My hip bone.
Man.
I don't know. That was basically my first quote unquote paranormal experience.
No, I've had some crazy ones, but they weren't here. They were in some Arab countries, man.
Yeah, no, thank you, bro. Those are the creepiest.
One in the desert too.
No, I'm not.
Thank you.
I'm not about it.
Okay, sorry. I won't tell you then.
No, you've told me this. I'm just like, I'm not about this shit. I'm not going to the desert to find some.
Dude, I mean, to me, there is this like kick of like, it's kind of fun and intriguing.
Well, of course there is.
You know?
I mean, I say that in the stew, but when push comes to shove, of course I'm coming.
Bro, plus that Airbnb we had was huge.
It was pretty massive.
It's like
a 3-story house.
It's a 3-story house, legit. So we had like 2 basements, basically.
Yeah.
Just kept going more and more underground. And the more underground, the more creepy it got. Like, it was just like, there's a presence in this room. It's a lot colder down here. And obviously, like, that's just how it works, you know? It's always cold, and then the heat rises up. So it's like, upstairs was hotter. But, like, still, freaked us out. Remember when everyone was freaking out, and then it was just raccoons?
Oh, yeah. Those little guys, bro. They're so scandalous.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts, dude. I don't know if you saw, did you see, me and you saw it. The shooting star.
I saw it in the corner of my eye.
Damn it. It was me and Gus that saw it.
It's a proper one, huh?
Dude, it was the clearest and longest, brightest shooting star I've ever seen in my entire life.
Okay, clearest in terms of what? Like,
clearest in terms of there was a spark and a line that just went across. It's
almost like light just ripped through the fabric of
like
the
light
darkness.
ripped through. Like, it wasn't just a white line. It was like really bright, you know? I don't know if it has something to do with the altitude, because we were like 14,000 feet up. Something.
Well, of course, yeah. You get to just see more of them. Over here, we don't see shit because of light pollution. That's a real shame.
Yeah, it was super cool. And then when we saw that car coming, but it was so dark, we couldn't see. You couldn't see the path, so we started running towards it.
It was kind of trippy, actually. It was like an illusion, because the car would come through the forest line.
Yeah,
and we thought it was gonna like basically just come straight at us.
Yeah, but
then it went around.
Yeah. So the road is like a loop. So the car is turning left and right, but the headlights looked like it was straight coming at us because the hill was above that property that we were at. So it looked like it was coming straight for us, but then it turned right. It's
the small things when you go on a trip like that.
Stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's a recommendation for everybody to go out every once in a while. If you can't, like, dude, just change the scenery. I think it's really helpful and healthy for the soul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just kind of live it up. I know it's hard to think about making, like, anything other than making money these days, you know? It's really hard to do so. Because that's all we live for, realistically. At the moment, you know? It's kind of weird. Like, everyone's in a stash mode, and this is all due to the recession, I think.
I don't know. I feel like you got to go harder during a recession.
Yeah.
This idea that you're going to save your fucking nuts like a little squirrel and then do something with it. How many people actually pull that off? I think it's few and far between. I think if you're on offense, like you're on the attack, you're more offensive about your strategy, I think that's going to end up paying dividends. As opposed to playing on the defensive, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I've never heard of anyone winning without risk.
Exactly.
And that's the tough thing, is like, what risk do you want to take?
This is the first time ever in my life that I started saving money because I have a child on the way. So I think it's a little bit smarter to do that. But, you know, at the end of the day, you also do have to take some risk if you want to make some more money.
That's true.
I think the days of like working your 9 to 5 and relying on a fucking 401k from your company are long gone.
Yeah, you're no longer like making that check so you can go eat BJ's at the end of the, like, you know what I mean?
It's just, BJ's is half of your check.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
That. Yeah, that's old school mentality, man. That's like not old school, but like young.
Which is what I like about like the lines of work we're in. You can't do 9 to 5 today.
No.
You're not going to be able to afford anything.
Well, we make more in a day than you do at like 3 weeks in a 9 to 5.
You've got to do high ticket if you want to actually live.
I mean, we got to that point. I'm not saying like we just right out of the bat, like straight up just started making that.
Yeah, of course.
But it's like you saw that, you know, if you play the game right, that's what will happen realistically. You get to see that you're not like in someone else's like prison cell.
Yeah.
You are the warden. And you kind of like, you know,
it's 2023, bro.
Put yourself in watch, Or you could take a couple days off from the prison.
You can make money doing anything these days.
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with like a lot of people shy away from like the shameful work. You know,
What do you mean?
cutting trees, painting curbs, painting houses, power washing, whatever. Like it's kind of like
You can earn decent money doing that stuff too, yeah.
you can. You know, that's just like easy thought things. You know, where it's just like, oh, I have hands and legs, and I have some money that I can, you know, purchase an asset with, and have the asset generate me money. By me
Trade,
doing some work.
bro,
know?
you're a plumber, electrician,
Yeah.
whatever else. Like those guys make a good.
There's no shame in that. And
good
they
amount
do.
of money.
Do you know the trash workers, the garbage people?
They make bank.
Yeah. What are they called? Garbage technicians?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah. Garbage disposers. I don't know.
Those guys are true hustlers.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like government work, you'll make money. But it's just like, who wants to do that? You know? Mailmen.
Yeah. UPS drivers now.
Yep. What, 174,000?
That's if you want to spend a good like 5 years working at the warehouse and then working your way up.
$174,000 a year.
That's crazy.
It's tough work. I mean, like, especially during the holidays, you'd be working like 14, 16 hours, dude.
It is tough work, yeah.
And you're driving too. It's crazy. But yeah, nevertheless, I think I'm just excited. Contact Tour is going to be coming on next week.
Ooh. It's going to be a fire episode,
so
dude.
there's been a lot in the alien world that you may or may not have heard of. And he wants to like just basically go down the whole thing and just
How long do you think that episode's going to be?
probably 3 hours.
It's got to be a long one.
Yeah.
Because we're really going to try to get
Somewhere
in.
around there. I think 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah, because he's leaving soon too, so we're going to have to take advantage.
Yeah. If you guys don't know who that is, go look him up on Instagram. He's awesome. He shares a lot of cool clips where he debunks things and then explains like government documents and whatnot.
Dude, we're going to get into it with him in terms of like free energy and all this magnetic shit.
Dude, hell yeah.
Like that stuff is crazy to me. I haven't really like done a deep dive on it, but because I come from more of a research background of studying water and how it can produce energy, implosion energy, all this stuff, it's very fascinating to me.
Yeah. He wants to chat with us about the disclosure situation. There's a lot to go over and discuss, he says.
Bro, I can't wait.
So that's going to be awesome. Hella preparing for that because I've been wanting to talk to him for a while. And just talking to him, just from kicking it with him in general, like when he talks about things, it's just really interesting. I think he has a really good, solid mind, and the way he thinks is really logical.
Yeah.
So we'll, yeah, you guys should definitely save that episode on your list. It'll be next week for sure.
Next week, baby.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, and thank you so much for listening. This has been episode 213. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up on YouTube, subscribe, and don't forget to rate us 5 stars on Spotify, and never miss an episode again. All right. Any last words?
Adios.
Sayonara.